got Sean, your host. Fuck you. we got the other co-host, Sean Febre, and in the house we have real estate guru Garrett Greco, who owns Tampa Bay Developers, Investment Development, a brokerage, Tampa, Sarasota. He's killing it with the real estate. We're so happy to have you in here.
And he also has a podcast.
That's right. Oh yeah, and the I fucking forgot about
Tampa
one of the most
Bay
important
Developers podcast.
That's right.
You
Fellow
guys grow,
podcaster myself.
Really fast, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
50K followers.
That's right.
In less than a year.
It's been about a year. Yeah, like a year and a couple months, but right around that time. Yeah.
And how did you get into real estate? Let's just kick it off from your background, like where it started off. I mean, going from maybe high school or college, whatever, where you got the idea, you're like, all right, I'm going to start my own business.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of important to go back even further.
Oh, okay.
Because my story with Tampa is really close. Like me and this city are like, like this, right? So
you were born here?
I was born here in Tampa. My father was a judge here for 20 years in Hillsborough County.
I could have sworn
that
Judge Greco. Yeah.
No way.
Dude,
Yeah,
I was
man.
like, when you said your name, I was like, this sounds really, really familiar.
Yeah. The Greco family. We came here in the late 1800s. My great-great-grandmother Rosa rolled cigars in Ybor City. So I'm deeply connected to this city. So my dad was a judge. My grandfather was the mayor, Dick Greco here, 4-term mayor. So as a little kid, having my dad as a judge and my grandfather the mayor, I was just super interested in the city, how it operated, how it worked, stuff like that. I always had a fascination with it. Parents get divorced, shit goes down in your life when you're a kid, and that's all right. But eventually moved away from Tampa when I was 11 to live with my mom in Sarasota. My mom was in real estate. She did a little wholesaling. She worked for a realtor that was doing very well at the time. She was her assistant. So my mom got her license and started working in the real estate space. This is in Sarasota. And so I just grew up like middle school, high school, watching my mom in real estate. She was just a badass single mom trying to make it, super hustler, grinding every day. Like I would hang out with my cousins and do an after school program, and my mom would just be sun up, sun down working. She was a true badass. She's still going today, still going strong. Yeah, so that's kind of where the real estate thing came in for me. I moved back to Tampa in late 2017. And
damn, so it's really recent, man.
It's pretty recent.
6 years ago,
yeah. People say where were you born? Where are you from? Tampa. Well, where'd you grow up? Not really Tampa, right?
Sarah.
Like kind of Sarasota.
So like Bradenton?
No, true Sarasota, proper Sarasota. So like downtown area.
Like Fruitville.
Yeah, Fruitville. Went to Sarasota Military Academy, which was a good time. got some stories there for sure.
I love it. He said proper Sarasota. Okay,
proper
you know
Sarasota,
where proper
yeah.
Sarasota is. That's where all the money's at, right there.
That's right. Yeah, there's like this Sarasota kind of Bradenton beef type deal down there. You know,
way. I didn't even know that.
A little bit.
What about Palmetto? People
almost
hate
similar to
Palmetto?
like the Tampa Brandon beef. You know what I mean?
Man, Brandon doesn't even stand a chance at Tampa, man.
Exactly.
I don't know where this beef's coming from.
I don't know, man. It's like the urban area versus the suburbs, I guess. I don't know. There's always been a tiff, I guess.
Allegedly.
So pick it back up. Yeah, like went off to college, Florida State, go Noles, had a fucking awesome time. Wasn't really paying much attention to what I wanted to do after school, honestly. Yeah. Just having fun. This was like Jameis Winston was our QB, national championship. Like, yeah, crab legs.
Fucking right in the pussy.
The whole game, dude. The whole thing. And so
what'd you go
was
more
focused
FSU
on partying.
For?
To party, dude.
To
like
party.
to be honest, yeah.
No.
Went
Like,
there to
what'd
party.
you graduate with?
Oh, No, I know. I'm getting there. I studied social science, and at Florida State in social sciences, you could pick a primary and a secondary concentration. So I chose economics and political science. That's what I was studying.
Interesting.
And then I had a business minor.
So
too.
you wanted to be an elected official, it sounds like.
I don't think I wanted to be one, but again, growing up in my family, that's just what was around me. It was like real estate and politics. So I was like, okay, economics and political science. That sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Interesting topics. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure besides the partying and the chicks, I mean, that would probably be the best part.
Yeah,
I don't know. I went to party up there a whole bunch. I went between Gainesville and Tallahassee, and man, I had a good time on both.
Oh yeah,
But Tallahassee, man, people got. I mean, it was a shit show.
Gainesville sucks, bro.
Yeah,
don't even try.
And it was during Tebow's time. You know, they had Tebow, they had Joke and Noah. You know, Florida was rolling good.
Yeah, like when I was at Florida State, it was like 2013, 14, 15. Tebow was back in what, 06, 07, 08.
Yeah.
So I'm sure Gainesville at that time when
Yeah.
Tebow was there was fucking nuts.
I-
But when I was at Florida State, I actually visited Gainesville. I think we had like a friend at UF or something, mutual friends at UF. And we go down there and we're all excited. Holy shit, Florida. Like, let's see how they party, right?
Yeah.
We get down there. Ass, like, nothing happening.
Well, they
bunch
didn't-
of nerds.
How old are you?
I'm 32.
32?
Well, almost 32.
Yeah.
Oh.
Damn.
So then we're older.
Yeah, we're 36, so that's why that 4 years. Because you're right. You know, when Florida State was pumping, it was Jameis. I mean, he was up there. I mean, you guys were undefeated, going to
Oh,
national
dude.
championships.
No,
I mean, it
Is
was
Bobby Bowden still the coach
No,
there?
it was Jimbo Fisher.
it was Jimbo Fisher, man.
Jimbo,
Yeah, it was
that's
a
right.
legendary time to be in college. It really was, and we knew it at the time too. Like looking around at the
Yeah.
people and being in the packed stadium, Jameis
Yeah.
Winston not losing a game for like 2.5 seasons. It was electric, man. It was unbelievable.
So
Oh,
you're
I liked him,
you're
too.
up there, you're having fun, you're having a ball,
Mhm.
you know, political science and secondary in economics. What happened then after that?
Realized, oh shit, I'm graduating soon. I need to figure out what to do. And so I spoke to both my parents. So again, my parents are divorced, right?
Yeah.
Raised by a single mom. My dad, is off doing his thing. So I spoke to each of them individually, and I talked to my dad about the law because I have always had an interest in the law and studying law. And my dad's job as a judge, and I'd hang out in his courtroom as a kid and listen to his cases and see how he ran that courtroom. And it was fascinating to me. So I spoke to him about what it meant to be a lawyer, what it would look like. Obviously, money plays a role in your life, right? You're trying to figure out when you're in college, like, how do I make the most money? A lot of kids think like that. I certainly did.
I did too.
Yeah, I think we all
Yeah.
are motivated by money.
Well,
You
we want
kinda
to
have
look
be.
good. I mean, and social media is really relevant in our society. So, I mean, we don't want to look like, a broke joke. We want to.
No.
I think
Well,
mine,
you don't-
mine
you don't
was
wanna-
more like I wanted to do better than our parents.
You don't want to
to
look like a broke person, but really even worse, you don't want to be that person because then you
Yeah.
can't afford shit.
Yeah.
You can't afford a nice house for yourself. And then it goes deeper. Like when you have a wife, I have a 10-month-old. I don't know if you guys are married or children.
I'm married and I
Yeah.
have one kid and one on the way.
Okay.
married, no kids. though.
Okay. So you guys, we're all kind of right there.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there is a motivation when you do want to have a family with money. It's a huge factor. And I thought about that as a young person when I graduated college. I was like, look, I know what I want to do. I want to have a wife and a family. I know money's important. How do I make the most money? And my dad was like, yeah, it's a different kind of business. It's a different industry now. It's very oversaturated. There's a ton of lawyers. I'm not paying for law school. It's going to cost you like $100,000. You're going to have to take out a loan.
Damn, motherfucker threw that out
Yeah,
right
I know.
away.
No,
man.
yeah, that was
Yeah,
like
he's a
literally-
smart man. Is what it
Literally
sounds
the
like.
first thing he said was like, I'm not paying for it. You're going to have to take out a loan for law school. And dude, that shit is very, very expensive. And and just doing the math, right? When you graduate, you have friends that graduate with you. You're talking to them about what they do. Oh, I make 60 grand a year, 65. I'm looking at the lawyer thing. You ain't going to make much more than that when you're first starting out.
65.
Yeah, man.
That's it?
As a public defender, you don't make. I mean,
Oh, well,
this
when
is
you
this
just
is
go-
also like 10 years ago.
Wouldn't
But
you go to private sector?
you can, but the opportunity in the legal field is really advantageous if you take certain jobs that can massively increase your experience out of law school. So when you graduate law school, if you can go work in the military and be a JAG officer, if you can be a public defender, if you can work in prosecution, if there's jobs you can take for 3 or 5 years and massively increase your experience, then you can go to the private sector and make a shitload of money. And that's the path he was explaining, and I was just unwilling to do it. Like I had just graduated school. Now I got to go to law school for 3 more years and then make shit money for, I don't know, 3 to 5 more years. Then I would be like 30, kind of now starting to make a little dough. And I thought, Man, screw that. Like, screw that. I don't want to do that. I love the legal field. It's so fascinating, but let me see what my mom has to say about real estate.
You're probably saying, yo, Mama Duke's what's up with real estate?
Exactly. And growing up and watching her hustle and make money and move through these deals and make a big commission check and live on it for a few months and make another commission check. You guys kind of know how that game goes as a real estate agent. And I thought, you know what? That fucking sucks. But at the very least, I can control my own destiny and be a business owner. And there's something really cool about that. There's something very appealing about that.
You got more freedom of time too than being,
It's not really a business owner in the beginning. You're just a 1099 agent working for some brokerage and hanging up your license.
Well, business owner is an interesting way to put it, but it's kind of true, right? Like as a real estate licensee, you are an independent contractor. Yeah. You're not an employee though, in the same token, right? So if you're not an employee, you're the person that's responsible for going out, getting business, keeping track of your expenses, your personal marketing and advertising, right? So in a way, you kind of are a business owner as a real estate agent.
Yes. No. Okay. That I will not disagree with.
Yeah.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was appealing. And plus, like, the movie Wolf of Wall Street.
Cocaine and hookers.
Cocaine and hookers, my friend.
There was something, I think it's on the wall. Didn't you have it over here?
Well,
please do not feed the horse drugs.
No, something about Wolf of Wall Street. Maybe I saw a flash of that and thought of it.
Elon.
That's a great one too.
We actually were trying to find that, Leonardo DiCaprio with that one, but man, they were wanting so much money for that. I was like, I'm not gonna pay for that. That's when we were first starting out. We're like, let's get whatever's inexpensive.
I think it was like $1,000 for that one.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
They had some other ones.
What, like a poster or what?
No, it was like
this kind of
$1,000.
But it was framed and it was like an actually nice.
The other
painting.
ones, his face wasn't like it was.
It didn't look like him.
Yeah, it didn't look like him. It was like
that sounds like a scam to me, boys.
Yeah, it was.
And that's why we didn't do it.
Yeah. Good call.
That's why we're always looking at that American Dream that looks like an Amex.
That one's cool. Yeah, I like that one a lot. I think they actually have, the one of Leonardo DiCaprio with the $100 bill.
Yeah, that's the one that we were trying to get.
Okay, I like that one.
We're trying to get.
So anyway, right? That was the mindset. Like Wolf of Wall Street, business owner, making money,
cutting deals,
cutting deals, and that was appealing. And I was like, all right, let me do that. So my junior year of college, I got my real estate license, and the summer before that, I worked as a foreman's assistant at an apartment complex in Tallahassee called the Woodlands. So if anyone listening goes to Florida State, you probably know the Woodlands. It's right behind Publix, where Jameis stole the crab legs. So I'm
property management, right?
Property management, bro. I'm doing construction type shit though.
Yeah.
It's not quite buttoned up real estate services yet. I'm checking off lists. I'm doing blue tape type stuff.
Punch out list, right?
Yeah, punch out. This is over the summer in Tally, so it's hot as shit. And I'm making like $9 an hour. Well, the summer after that, getting my real estate license, I helped my girlfriend at the time's dad buy an office building in Tampa. Very small. It was like 350, 400 grand as a brand new realtor.
Yeah.
I had my mom kind of help me with it.
And you saw that commission check.
Dude, I made like
20
$6 grand or something like that. Small check, in the scheme of things. But as a kid, bro, when you're, let me think, I was 21 at the time. Okay, I had worked a whole summer at $9 an hour in the heat and made like $600 or $700 after the government kicks you in the nuts, right?
Yeah.
So I get this check of $6 grand and I'm like, holy shit. Like, so that added very much to that decision I made when I graduated of what I wanted to do. Yeah. I was like, bro, if I can get these big checks coming in, there's going to be, maybe I can create something special. I don't know.
So
that was like the spark of real estate for me.
And I saw the spark in your eyebrows when you said that. It was like,
yeah, man,
there was a spark there. And it was like, that was the aha moment.
Money is so important. Yeah. And people that ignore that fact are putting themselves in a bad position.
They're delusional. Yeah. What's that country song? Money can't buy happiness, but it could buy me a boat. It could buy me a truck to pull it.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Or pay for your, baby's milk and a roof over your head, right?
Yeah.
Like,
or your wife's fake tits. It don't matter.
Everything,
they
bro.
can pay for anything.
Anything and everything. So I was very motivated by that fact. And I talked to my mom and she said, it's hard. It's very hard. but you're young, and if you stick
I'm
with
sorry
it,
she was talking about me. I'm just kidding.
Jesus
I'm just joking. I'm joking, bro. That's a joke.
Jeez.
it's all good, bro.
Hey, it is Happy Hour Holidaze.
It is
by the
happy
way.
hour, but it's so early. It's not even noon
Whoa,
yet.
whoa, whoa, nobody knows
Oh,
when
my
this
bad.
gets posted.
It's 5:30 p.m. on a Friday evening.
There we go.
Don't
but
worry.
really, it's 11. What does that say? 11:45
Don't even worry.
a.m.
I'll cover the clock. You know. So yeah, man. Like dove into it. Was basically my mom's assistant. She was selling maybe like 10 million in volume a year. So doing
That's
well,
respectable.
like
That's
doing
respectable.
good. You
Yeah.
know, certainly making a living.
Residential?
Nothing crazy. Residential, helping people buy and sell homes. But when I started to work with her, because I had just graduated college and studied business and economics and all that, I had a very business-oriented mindset. So when I started working with my mom, I immediately saw the need for her to break off from the brokerage she was at, for me to start my own brokerage. We could save that money we were paying that old broker and use it for business expenses and marketing, advertising, like grow her business. I was like, Mom, I really think it's possible. I could get my broker's license, start our own company, and you can just be my agent and I'll handle all the legal, administrative, bookkeeping, like all that shit. You just focus on selling homes.
You had already been an agent for 2 years, right?
Yeah, I think at that time, well, when I first joined her, I got my license my junior year of college. So when I graduated, it was only about a year, but I had that mindset. You have to wait 2 years to get your broker's license, right? So I think it took me a couple years to convince her.
I was going to
that
say,
was a
because
good idea.
with agents, a
she
lot of them, they go,
could've
I
done
don't
it.
want to deal
Yeah.
with the headaches. I just
Yes.
want to be under this broker.
Well, liability is a big
liability,
one.
E&O.
Well, E&O is not that expensive.
Yeah, I know.
It's not that expensive, but there's a worry. There's like there's a liability thing that agents always worry about.
Well,
like,
that's
oh
what-
fuck, I don't want to deal with
That's what
that.
the insurance is for.
Right, but again, it's like an agent. It's a mindset thing where this is more in general in business. It's all about headspace. And as you guys know, like you guys are business owners, if you're worried about so many different things, it's very hard to grow and expand and effectively service your customers.
Yeah.
So
Unless you delegate.
unless you delegate, which is what you should do, which is what agents do when they place their license with a broker. Essentially, they're delegating all of the liability and administration on their broker.
But I mean, they're still paying for it.
They're
not
paying.
they're
It's a
not paying
small
for the
fee.
task.
They're
paying for the task that they don't want to do.
Yeah,
But they're backwards delegating. They're delegating
Exactly.
in regression
Yeah.
instead of progression.
they're taking a certain percentage of their commission. They're giving it to someone else that can handle and essentially delegate.
Well, not only that,
A lot of that
monthly
other
fees
stuff.
as well, depending on your brokerage.
Depending on your brokerage,
Yeah.
yeah. A lot of brokerages are different nowadays. Like you have the 100% shops now where you pay like
$350 transaction fee.
You're
or
talking about
Right, like-
FHR. FHR does that.
Piney Woods is
Piney
another
Woods too,
example. I mean, there's probably a million examples.
What
of
about these the EXPs where now they're giving people like stock options?
I mean, bro,
or-
it's like a multi-level marketing.
yeah,
type.
I mean,
I
you
mean,
bring in
it's-
people.
It's a pyramid scheme,
yeah.
basically.
Well, I don't disagree.
Well,
with
Keller
that,
Williams was
but-
doing that too. Keller Williams would be like, you bring 5 agents, you
Yeah.
get a little residual.
Yeah,
off
it's
every
recruiting,
single-
right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing.
No, it's
For
not.
Keller Williams.
for
For the agent.
for them, right? Yeah, I mean, I always thought the same. Like for EXP, I think a lot of those people are more focused on getting more agents than they are
Then
selling
they are
homes,
selling. Yeah, without a doubt.
which is fine, but
Yeah.
it's just a different way of doing business
Yeah.
than actually focusing on
Sales.
selling homes and
Yeah.
sales.
When we get back, Happy Hour Holidaze, we'll ask Garrett. We'll continue the story about Tampa Bay developers and how it evolved to a big deal here in Tampa Bay. We'll be right back. We're back to Happy Hour Holidaze. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to check out our Instagram and our Friday features. We got Garrett Greco here, fucking real estate guru, fucking rolling with it.
Podcast
Podcast
guy.
guy.
Damn, I always forget about the podcast part, and that's like the best thing he's got too. So we were kind of talking about the investment and development side
Yeah.
as well. But we were talking also, man, I fucking forgot right
Well,
now.
we were kind
We were
of
talking about like
how I got into real estate.
Yeah,
I think is how we
and then,
how we left off.
your mom didn't want to become the broker. You
Yeah.
wanted the business aspect of it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so eventually just convinced her that was the right idea, convinced her customers
What'd you tell her,
I
by the
wouldn't
way?
fuck it up. Huh?
No, that's
What'd you tell her?
that's what you just said.
How to leave her current brokerage?
I mean, dude, it was a hard conversation, right? Because here I am, 22, 23. Yeah, I'm going to start my own company. Like,
and she's like,
you know,
"You're too
she's
young. You don't know."
at that time, this is a couple years in, right? So she's selling like 14, 15 million, like doing well, you know, and
yearly.
Yeah, annually, but working with very high end clients. So like selling 14 million, but selling like 14 homes.
So she
right?
was
like
like
all
competing
$1 million
against the
homes.
Tony Everetts of the area.
She was in Sarasota though. This is in Sarasota, remember?
Yeah.
Not Tampa.
Oh.
But yeah, she was that type of like luxury broker. She
You know who
just
Tony
knew that
Everett
game.
is, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, she's an old Tampa gal. You should get her on.
I don't know if that's even possible.
Just do it, bro. DM her. I think she did it. I think she did a radio show before. She's got experience. But anyway, yeah. So like convinced her and her customers it'd be a good idea, broke off on our own, and spent those first 5 years basically making sure I didn't fuck her business up and making sure that all the T's were crossed and the I's were dotted, and I reviewed contracts, and I had to put us in a position to not fail because I had a lot of pressure on me, obviously, right? Like we brought with us a developer that we worked with in Sarasota. My mom had all of these customers and clients. The first house we listed was a record for us. It was at the time $4 million. It was like 3.8. But in today's world, that house is worth close to $10 million. So at the time, that was a big deal.
This is all in Sarasota.
This is all in Sarasota.
Okay.
And so I was very diligent on not fucking that up. And then, you know, after those 5 years, I felt more comfortable. And I said, you know what, let me build the brand in Tampa.
So you're 28 at this time.
Yeah. So kind of, 28 or so, moved to Tampa.
Not married yet, right? Still
Not
single?
married.
No, but he
Moved
is
to
now.
Tampa with my girlfriend. Yeah. Married now with a little baby. And so, moved to Tampa, established an office, grew it to about 15 agents. This is going back the last 2.5 or so years. But along the way, right, that whole time while I'm being an agent and being my mom's broker, I'm also doing investing in real estate. And truthfully, that piece of the business is what interested me the most. One, because it was so creative. It's so creative to take a property, renovate it, put it up for sale, and sell it and make a profit.
Any
I just
properties
thought
you
that
wanna
was
mention?
incredible. Oh yeah, I mean, from the beginning, the first one I ever did was 2015. It was in Sarasota. It was on Rose Street in Southgate. We bought it for $195,000, put a little money into it, and sold it. We didn't make a profit at all on our first one, but I learned a shitload.
Okay, that's good.
Which was very important on
Yeah,
the first
That's
one.
very important.
And also very important, I didn't lose money.
Well,
right?
that's
It's
it,
also
man.
very
So
important.
if you don't lose money and you
Yeah.
learn something, hey, that's a win.
Yeah.
That was the first one in 2015. I was so hooked on that, dude. I was like, if I could just flip houses and build houses, I would just do this. The real estate brokerage side of my business is very heady. It's people, there's
Agents.
drama, there's agents. You guys are in kind of that and like a node of real estate, right?
Mhm.
You're a real
Real
estate
estate
service
photography.
photography
Yeah,
business,
yeah.
right? So you kind of understand a little bit of those dynamics with agents. And people, of course, watch TV and Selling Sunset in these shows. And not that
HGTV.
my company is like that, and not that most realtors are like that at all. But there definitely is this it's a people business, man.
Yeah.
People have problems, right? And as the broker, I have to deal with those problems. And investing in real estate, you don't have those problems. So I don't
Minus
know,
the
investing's
subs.
always
Minus the
well.
subs.
Yeah.
You know, if you get a good team of subs, but I mean the subs.
But
are-
if all
You're
you
right.
do is deal with the house and then let your mother list it, I'm assuming, right? She would probably be the one listing the houses that.
I mean, he would.
I listed them. And then later
Would it be like
down the
agent
line,
1, agent 2, or
no, well, I don't. No, my mom didn't want to deal with it.
yeah,
You know, she was dealing with her multi-million-dollar people that required a lot of attention, and so if we're selling like a $200,000 home, you know, she just didn't want to deal
Yeah,
with it.
she's like, no,
Yeah, but-
you take that, Garrett.
So yeah, exactly. So like I listed a lot of the stuff in the beginning, and then moving down the line, you know, we would hire commercial brokers for certain things. Like I remember the first 2 little apartments I bought in this condominium complex were $59,000 a piece, and they rented for $850. They were Section 8 housing. So government housing program where the government would actually pay you direct deposit every month. You didn't have to chase down
Section
money from
8
a tenant.
vouchers.
Yeah, Section 8 vouchers. Incredible investment. And you're kind of doing a good thing for the community too, providing low-income housing and workforce housing. So that was cool for me. Bought the first 2 for $59,000 a piece.
Damn, what year was this?
This was a long time. This was
long, because if I could find a couple of those,
that doesn't, right? Well, that we'll probably talk about that too. But how I started is not the same way someone's going to start today. It's you can't buy a property in Florida in downtown Sarasota for $59,000.
No, not anymore.
It just doesn't exist.
No.
And I fear for young people wanting to get into real estate. Like, how the hell are these young people, these ambitious people that want to get involved in real estate, how are they going to buy anything?
Answer that question.
Man, I think you got to partner up. I think you got to get on YouTube and read books and increase your knowledge. I think you got to meet people.
Well, what about bridge loans? What about bridge loans?
The problem with stuff like that is you could get caught easily. You could get caught in an environment like right now is a good example where the market is softening up a little bit. And if you have a lot of debt out there and you're paying a lot of money every month in interest and then all this interest only, and all of a sudden the market takes a hit, and now a house that I thought I could sell in a week sits for months, and I'm just bleeding.
Well, when's the balloon? When's the balloon?
Well, that depends, right?
Have you heard of? Should I throw out this bridge loan company?
No, everyone.
Shout out.
Kiavi. Kiavi, they do up to 24 months, interest only payments. And
I know a couple. I don't want to say them if that's your guy. I don't think I've heard of Kiavi.
No. It's not a person.
It's a company.
It's a company. It's like the eBay, or not the eBay. It's like, how would you?
It's like a department store for fucking loans.
It's like a loan depot.
That's cool.
It's like a loan depot.
Is that we should start Loan Depot.
They do have a loan depot.
Oh, okay.
They do have a loan depot.
That's a great name. That's a
loan
fantastic
depot.
name.
That is good, man.
So essentially they give you these loans, and what they do is they say, okay, interest only payments. Do you meet the criteria? Yes. But not only that, they also allow you to take money out of that property once it's rehabbed, that they give you money for rehab, and they give you, I think it's like 70% LTV, and you could take all your equity out, keep it for 24 months, and then if you want to, you could sell it, rent it, make money off the rental price, pay the interest only payments,
right? And
then at the very end of your term, which I would suggest somewhere around 20 months, get rid of it, make all your money back, pay back the term.
Yeah.
Boom, you're done.
That's the exact scenario more young people.
But that's a bridge loan company.
But not the problem, but the challenge with that model is the 30%. Where do kids today? I say kids, right? People
when you say 30%,
20s.
are you talking about what's down?
Right.
This is what's beautiful about that company. It's not 20%. Or 30%. It's 20%.
Even 20% is still a reach for young people.
Hey, what's 20% of 150? $30,000.
20, yeah, 30.
$30,000.
But that's the problem.
That's not that bad.
Right, but 30
Kids
grand, man.
save
Today,
up
you still gotta fix it, right? And you still gotta pay your points.
Well, that's where you have to get creative with how you raise capital to fix it, and then maybe give a percentage away to maybe family members if you're
gonna
22.
have to. Yeah, the point, right, is you're gonna have to think about creative solutions. Whereas when I started, if I'm buying a $59,000 condo, which rents for $850 a month, so you surpass that 1% rule, landlords love. The down payment on that is nothing. And by the way, this was, almost 10 years ago. So what's debt back then is like 2%, 3%,
I thought if the property was under 90K, banks won't loan on it, right? Which means that you have to get a bridge loan regardless, or
that might
you
be
need
true
to
today.
have
I don't know.
saved $59,000 regardless to purchase that cash free, and then have money for the rehab.
I'm sure you can find somebody to loan on anything. I mean, you just gotta find the right bank or the right lender. I mean, somebody will loan on 59.
You got a doomsday theory, though. You got a doomsday theory that kids nowadays can't do it.
No, I'm not saying can't. I'm saying very difficult.
It's very difficult.
Because
and when I say kids, I mean like people under the age of 25.
Right. Exactly. I'm using kids in the same definition too. I just mean it's very difficult, and I just mean that people can look at my story, but they also have to understand it was 10 years ago. And I know I'm talking like I'm 60 years old back in my day, right? But in a weird way, it's true, bro. Like COVID changed everything for Floridians.
Accelerated the market probably 10 years.
Easily, right? So we're just playing in this future world where prices really shouldn't be where they are. They're only where they are because of COVID really accelerated this migration to Florida.
Yes.
My only point is young people just have to get creative, family, friends. Maybe you got an uncle with extra cash. Maybe you have a friend that you can partner with, like you said, to go in on a deal, give them a little equity.
Make sure you trust them.
Oh, of course, right? That's another thing.
And always have black and white contracts.
Oh yeah.
You don't do this word of mouth.
No,
you don't fucking say, yo, yeah, you're gonna give me 50
always
G's
get everything written on paper.
Everything's got to be on paper.
Oh yeah.
Start an LLC. All right, somebiz.org. It's only like $175. Really fucking cheap. Get an EIN from the IRS, which is free, and do it that way.
Start a bank account. Yeah. You're probably going to spend only a couple $100, $300 starting everything out and setting it up.
And banks will do that shit for free.
And and that's not, I think the hard part really is that where do you get the cash to buy it and fix it up?
That's the biggest deal.
That's the answer to the question young people need to figure out. Because like when I graduated college, if a kid made 60 or 65, they were doing really well. Yeah. Today, bro, I just got gas. Like I filled my Jeep up. I don't even drive that crazy of a car. It's a fucking Jeep. And it's like, it was like 80 bucks. And then back to the story I told, like, bro, when I was in college, $9 an hour, I'm working a full fucking day to put gas in my car, right? Hours? Yeah, right? Like 70, 80, 90 bucks to fill
$72.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That all you made that day.
It just wasn't like that back then, man. It was just a different world. I don't know, man. I got in some ways I got lucky. Of course.
First of all, luck is not something that happens. You make your own luck. Man.
You do make your own luck. Yeah. But I think luck, if I was to define luck, it would just be it would be you being prepared for opportunities, and when opportunities are in front of you, you taking advantage of those opportunities. That's really what luck is.
I agree.
I agree with Garrett too, because there was an old guy that we were talking to when we first started a real estate photography company, and I was shooting his house. He's like, "You could have started this company in 2005 when the market was crashing, and you would have closed down."
Yeah.
He's like, "There's a little bit of luck in everything," and that was some luck that you started your business at this time, and it was at a booming time,
especially in an industry where we are beholden to a market. So we're operating, and you guys included, right? If tomorrow no houses sell and no one, right.
No,
and so am I.
Not if they sell. If they're listed, that's when we make money.
Well, you know what I mean though, right? Like if there's no houses transacting, then there's no need for real estate photography. If nothing's moving, you might get calls on listings, of course, but we're all kind of beholden to this fluctuating market. So timing in a way is everything.
It's everything. Yeah.
You know, if you came in, I mean, there's plenty of stories of guys I've talked to that used to be in mortgages in 2007.
They were fucking rolling. You get a bonus on this. That was the short.
The Big Short.
The Big Short. He's like, if a person comes in wanting a mortgage, these immigrants don't care.
That's one of the big things. He was like, you know what? I target immigrants that can't speak Spanish or English,
bro.
And we just target them
real,
because
bro.
I know it's real. And then you had the guy who played Michael Scott in The Office saying, "Wait a second, why are they disclosing all this information?" And he's like, they're not disclosing the information. They're bragging.
They are bragging, man.
They didn't even know what the fuck they were doing.
I talked to a guy 2 weekends ago. We were at a wedding in Palm Beach, and he was literally those two kids bragging with like the Lamborghini and the mortgages and all that. He's like, bro, it was crazy. We'd go to the strip club. We'd be selling mortgages. We'd be bringing girls to the office. It was like literally Wolf of Wall Street, slanging mortgages, 2007, 2008, and then everything took a turn. And all those guys got fucked.
And along with everybody else, they sold 3 or 4 mortgages to.
That's right.
Well, man.
And as we all know, the whole economy collapsed.
One person
and if you had just started, I want to be a realtor. Good luck. Good luck. Right? So timing does play a role.
That's where now, but there's also a way to pivot. So like in that era, there was some people that decided to work with the banks for short sales. And those realtors did very well because they're like, okay, now we're hired by the bank to short sell or even sell the foreclosures.
That was few in between, though.
Few in between.
Yeah, to be able to get the REOs.
That's a really, really good point.
But that is creatively pivoting to a place where you understand where the market is going, which enables you to make money.
So I know a ton
As
of
a realtor
realtors.
in
I
that
know
point.
a ton of older realtors that I met through my mom, working with my mom, that were alive and well during that time period because they're just fucking hustlers.
Yeah.
And even though the market crashed, they said, all right, who do I know that wants to sell a house?
Who's my
Banks.
client? Banks. Boom.
So they called the banks up and they got those deals done and they made
Yeah.
money and they survived. That's real. Like
Yeah,
people can pivot
yeah.
for sure.
Because why do banks want to get rid of? They just want to make sure that they can make a portion of whatever they owed on, whatever the homeowner owed on the house, and then say, okay, boom, all right, all we need to do is maybe lose 25%. We're gonna be good because we made so much money for the last 10 years.
That's exactly right.
That
or longer.
we're gonna sustain. Now, Neiman Marcus, or was it Neiman Marcus or Lehman Brothers?
Lehman Brothers.
Lehman Brothers.
Lehman Marcus.
Neiman Marcus is a clothing brand. My
They
bad.
were probably hurt
Lehman
too.
Brothers.
Yeah,
Lehman Brothers were the first to take the hit because of the credit default swaps, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they were the ones purchasing these subprime packages from the larger banks, saying, "Oh yeah, we're gonna make money. We're gonna make money." When in reality, what these big banks were doing was providing loans to individuals that couldn't afford it because of the stated income loans.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a huge, it's basically a
It
huge
was a
conspiracy.
clusterfuck.
It was basically a huge
clusterfuck.
conspiracy. Like you got these young dudes selling mortgages to people they know can't afford the house. But then you have these big banks kind of turning a blind eye to it because they can take all of those mortgages, package them up, mix in good loans, mix in the bad loans, and then sell them to the institutions.
Yeah.
So like they were making money, the young dudes with the Lambos were making money, like everyone's happy, everyone's making money, and the whole thing collapses.
And the whole
And then-
thing
and
just
then
drops up
really,
from the bottom.
After that whole collapse, wholesaling and assignable contracts became one of the biggest ways to make
And
money.
that's
in
That's
there's
right.
another pivot.
There's another pivot.
There's another pivot.
There's always a pivot.
yeah.
There's always a pivot.
Like when you think the darkest days are in front of you, really, well, I think Warren Buffett said this. He said that when everybody is scared, that's when you should be attacking.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
And the pivoting thing is a great way for a young person to move forward and forget some of the doomsday shit that maybe I'm talking about or you probably hear on TV, right? Like a young person can pivot a lot easier today. They have podcasts, they have books, they have YouTube, they have so much information that was kind of starting out when I started, but like definitely not as prevalent as today.
No.
So if you're young, just understand, bro, there's information out there for you. Like search for the information, meet people, listen to podcasts, read books, like do all of that and you'll find a way out. You
And
just got to fight for it.
But this is a problem. Very far, few and in between. You can listen to it, but if you don't react to the information provided, then you might as well be in the same place you were 20
You got to
minutes
take
ago.
action. You got to
have
take action.
Remember, 90%, there's a 90% and a 10% rule. Most people are 90%. The numbers never change, just the faces do. We'll be right back to Happy Hour Holidaze. Yeah, and we're back. Doomsday factors. Garrett was kind of telling us about it.
So what we were talking, no, actually, you brought up the point. You said that they say you have to make how much?
Oh, it's a $209,000 with a wife and a kid, or a wife, a husband, and 2 kids
To do what?
to live comfortably.
Here's the thing with that, right?
And I think single it was like one something if you were just a.
It's
single
such a relative term though.
Yeah.
Because when this is an example, right? You guys know Storm energy drinks? Have you heard of Storm at all? They're local to Tampa. They have a retail shop on Kennedy and one on McDill in South Tampa. Young couple owns it. They sell like protein shakes, energy drinks, stuff like that. Okay, small business. One time I wanted a Storm energy drink and I was sitting at home and I didn't have time to run over there. I was like, fuck, like let me Uber Eats it. By the time I pay the $7 fee for the drink, and then there's like a fee for Uber Eats,
$3.99
and
for
then
delivery,
a freaking delivery fee,
and then
a tip.
Yeah.
I paid like $25 for a drink, right?
But you'll
Now
do it convenience.
right, and there is a market for that, right? I'm like, okay, well, today I'm paying for convenience. So when I see a statistic like that says, oh, you need to make $200,000 a year to live comfortably, in my head I'm like, Like, what are we really talking about? Are we talking about the people that are doing stupid shit like that?
Yeah.
Like, that was a stupid thing I did. I'm paying $25 for a $7 drink.
But if you fucking want it now, then that's living comfortably.
But I don't think that's Garrett's point here. What he's saying is that
he's saying,
individuals can make fiscally responsible decisions,
Yeah.
or they could do what they want and then complain about things they can't have.
I think a lot of Americans today are very, very used to a certain type of lifestyle that is frankly wasteful.
Yes.
And again, right, the example I gave, I'm in that same boat. But there's definitely a way to get through life with a wife and children and not have to make $200,000 a year. Now, you ain't going to Universal Studios for a whole week every summer. You're not going to send your kids to private school. You're not going to be getting Uber Eats energy drinks, right? Right. But you definitely can think about how to be disciplined with money. And I think it goes back to getting started in real estate as a young person. You gotta be disciplined with your money. Like, if you're not saving up for that initial down payment, regardless if you find a partner or not, because good luck finding a partner if you don't have any money yourself. Hey, let's do a real estate deal. It's a great deal. You put up all the money and then we'll split the profit. What do you think?
What do you think?
People are going to go, no, like, that's a bad deal, right? So you got to have a little skin in the game. And in order to get skin, you got to save your dough.
And that's the problem with what I see with a lot of individuals is that they see the highlight reel of other people's lives and they think, yo, I can have that too. So they stretch what their current income is.
Social media, bro.
That's what it is. Yeah. It's because they say
horrible.
perception is reality, but really what it is perception is not reality.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's a huge issue.
Yeah.
It's a poisonous, leechy parasite that's attached itself to our society, man. Social media is horrible.
Thanks, Mark Zuckerberg.
And we're a part of it, bro.
Actually, it wasn't Mark Zuckerberg. It was
a part
Tom.
of it. We're on Instagram with our podcasts and shit. Like,
no, but that's different because what we're trying to do is
we're the good guys.
We're the good guys.
No. Well, we're educating one and first and foremost, and we're trying to make that well, at least we are. I'm sure you're already making money off of it. An income producing stream.
No, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we're not doing
using
it for
a
fun.
purpose. Yeah. I'm
not going to Universal Studios thinking I'm going to make money when I go there. That's like me saying, yo, I'm going to go to the Seminole Hard Rock Casino with $5,000 like FedEx guy did.
There's a lot of people with that mentality.
No, did you hear that though?
No, the FedEx guy?
Yeah, the FedEx.
I don't know.
Yeah, the FedEx CEO, he couldn't pay a vendor, and he had $5,000 in his account, and he had to pay $33,000. And he said, "We're going under tomorrow if I don't make that payment." So he took $5,000 out of the business bank account, went to Vegas, and made that payment, and FedEx lived on.
So at least you got a chance at least you have a chance in a casino.
Talk about super luck. I mean,
now what? FedEx
usually you lose
like
when you're that
second
determined.
largest
So this
carrier?
was in his origin story?
Origin story.
Oh,
Origin
shit.
story.
I didn't know that.
It was one of those Instagram
now we call him
stories
Bruce Wayne.
You got to be inspired by those people too.
Yeah.
Going back to information and pivoting, like I hadn't heard that story. Now I'm going to look that guy up and read his book or listen to his podcast.
No,
That's crazy.
Well, if he has a book.
Literally.
Granted, not that I'm going to go to the Hard Rock and try to make a move, but well, we'll see.
You're gonna be like, Mom, listen, the brokerage is gonna go under unless I take this $100,000 and turn it into $10 million.
You know what though? My mom has such a high belief in me that I probably could tell her anything and she'd be behind it. I think that's important.
Well, you've already proven yourself to her. I mean,
well, even back then, man, like having someone who believes in you is really important. You got to find that person. Even if the person's not real, you guys are lucky. You guys are brothers in business, podcasts. Like you guys have each other to rely on. I was an only child raised by a single mother. My dad was very conservative and not really good with money. My mom was just like not diligent at all, just making a commission, spending it, putting groceries on credit card, not having enough money to pay rent, shit like that. Like I didn't have anyone in my life that was disciplined with money or very business oriented. I didn't have that Uncle Gino, he's got the business and he's the guy to listen to. I didn't have an Uncle Gino.
Like a rich dad, poor dad. Somebody, we didn't. I mean,
we didn't have that
and today, what's really cool?
You know what we had? We had books.
That's what I was gonna say. Today, you don't even really need that, bro.
No,
you just need to be a searcher, and you just need to go out and find it. I've found tons of guys that I don't even know that I love to listen to. because I don't have that as a father or a figure in my life that I can look at. The first person, truthfully, that changed a lot of my mind about business was an ex-girlfriend's dad, and I was like in my early 20s.
What was he?
He owned a drug testing company, and he was just a serial entrepreneur. Had owned car dealerships, had owned multiple companies. And the reason why I love this dude so much is because not only was he super successful, he had the house with the boat, with everything he wanted, designer shit. The reason why I loved him was because his kids loved him. He had 3 kids, bro, that were like his best friends. And I was like, damn, it's possible. Again, Wolf of Wall Street type shit, right? Like I'm absorbing Wolf of Wall Street. My parents are divorced. I have kind of a broken childhood. And then I see a guy that has both. He's got the money and the kids and the happy family. I was like, damn. Dude, it's possible.
Are you telling me that, like,
that's the hardest part is
that your father and your grandfather didn't steer you at all, or no?
When you're
my father and grandfather,
because I mean, they in their own right, they were successful. Same as your mom, but
political office doesn't make you successful.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, man,
okay.
it's
well, I don't know.
No.
That's why I'm asking you a question.
It's a really, really good question because.
So they didn't steer you. They didn't steer you at all.
They didn't steer me at all. In fact, they steered me away from things just by the nature of them being themselves. Like, as an example, my dad has been married a lot. Like, I don't want to come on here and like talk shit about my father. More than 3. More than 3.
It's okay. My father-in-law was married 3 times.
More than a handful of rings on women's fingers, right? My mom was the second. You know, he would jump around from woman to woman, right? That's
good for him.
But right. Good for him, except for me.
Yeah.
For the
kids.
For the kid, it
so
sucks,
he has
right?
more than just you.
So him acting like that in my younger life taught me, like, all right, bro, I don't want to do that. Like, I want a wife, one wife, family. I don't want to fuck that up. I would sacrifice everything, all my ambition, just to have a solid family life.
That's what
I really would.
Too.
And my grandfather was the same way. He's known as a womanizer. Like this dude he's in like the JFK era, bro. Like he was mayor when he's like 35 years old, rolling around Tampa. Bro, late 1960s, early 70s, man. Like
right before Vietnam.
Before Me Too, right? Before the whole Me Too movement. I'll put it that way.
That was only like 5 years ago.
I know, but like imagine it. You can't pull that shit today, right? No. He's out late at night, coming home after dinner, you know, doing the thing, right? Like doing the thing. He's a well-known kind of womanizer type dude. I'm not. I don't like that type of shit. Like I want a wife and a kid, and I want to stay strong in that way. And so my father and grandfather didn't steer me. I just looked at their life and realized I don't want to live like that.
You want to be the opposite.
They're also not good with money. My grandfather was mayor for 4 terms, worked for the DeBartolos for 20 years, and now lives a comfortable life, but doesn't really have anything to show for it in terms of money, in terms of business.
Right
yeah,
now?
of course. Okay.
If he's saying it, he's okay.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I'm not
sure.
going to go into specific details, but my whole point in saying that is everything is not as it seems on the outside just because of a title. And those are great men. They really are. Like my father did great work as a judge, and my grandfather did incredible work. He's a Tampa legend.
They were influential.
I'm not taking away from any of that. I'm just simply saying and granted,
behind
in their
the
defense,
scenes,
bro, in their defense, think about the headspace it took to raise a family and be the mayor and like run the city. And then you have a family and a wife and babies. Like that's not easy for anyone. So I'm not taking away from my father or grandfather. I'm just saying they didn't figure out a perfect balance. That's my only point. They didn't figure out a perfect balance. I look at their life and I would like to focus more on the business and the family side of things before I focus on the politics and the who am I going out to dinner with and who's this person and who's that person. I'd rather focus on financial freedom for myself and my family and then just being a good, loving father and husband. That's truly my motivation.
That's very admirable, and I really like everything you said. So now going down that path of you want to focus on financial freedom.
Yeah.
What is the goal?
The goal is to have...
And what could be the path that leads you to the goal?
I think real estate is the path in terms of like what business, right? I think it's real estate. I love real estate. I've always been fascinated with it. Like I said, I'm extremely passionate. Dude, I'm up, some people are up scrolling Instagram. I'm up scrolling Zillow at night. You know what I mean?
That's
Like
what I do. MLS and Zillow.
I'm just obsessed with real estate. I love it. And so that's my vehicle for financial freedom. And then in terms of what does it look like, I think it looks like the ownership of some investment property. I want to own some commercial property. I want to have some multifamily property. I want to have some tenants paying me income.
REIT?
I don't know anything about that. That's like next level.
Trust?
That's like next level type shit though.
Is it?
Are you talking about me investing in one or me starting one?
Starting one.
I don't mind that thought. Yeah. That's a cool thought.
I mean, we had Ryan McGinnis on here.
Yeah. Love Ryan. He was on my podcast too. He's another hard money lender. On? Yeah, man.
Bro, shout out Ryan McGinnis.
McGinnis is awesome.
This guy's a young man with
fucking humble as can be.
Yeah,
super fucking humble.
You talk about a guy like your last question, right? The business question, the financial freedom question. You talk about a guy that has that figured out. His business model is unbelievable. Mm-hmm. He lends money to real estate investors at a higher interest rate, like 12%. I think he just keeps it at 12%.
I think it's more than that.
No, it was 12%.
I think it's 12.
Yeah.
And then he does the same thing which you explained earlier, where it's like, hey, the borrower comes with a max 70% loan to value, and then Ryan makes monthly income based on the interest only payments, and it's a safe investment. It's an amazing business. He has almost $100 million lent out. He has investors that work with him. Like the dude's got that figured out. So the question for myself is, how do I figure out that game and the family thing? So whatever I do in business, it's always like I always add on the family layer.
Capital investors is what you need to harvest.
Yeah, 100%.
But I'm with Garrett. I mean, like we couldn't have developed this business, the real estate one, the photography one, being married with kids. There's just no way.
Yeah.
The balance would have been neglecting your family in order to succeed in this. And not to say that's the only way to do it, but in order to hit that fucking limit, which is unlimited, you have to be invested 24 hours a day.
Well, it's like when people say, what's the definition of success? It's not, well, how much money did you make? I mean, that's not really it. Or I was the mayor. I'm successsul, period, the end. That's it. No, like there's other aspects of success that are extremely important. I think family and a relationship is one of them. You don't have to have a wife.
Yeah.
You can be a gay dude with a husband, right?
Yeah.
Like the story's the same.
Yeah.
You need to take care of your people and your family and your friends and be a community leader, and like, that's my goal. It's financial freedom, but it's also I want to be a person that my kids can look up to, and the kids in my family, the children and grandchildren, there's a little bit of a dissatisfaction with those men, my father and grandfather, because they lived the lives they lived. And unfortunately, because of their positions or because of whatever excuse you want to make, it was hard for them to have a good relationship with their kids and grandkids and all that. And so I don't want to do that, right? So I need to figure out a way to balance my finances and my business with my family.
The example was that one guy, the one guy who was his kids loved him.
Yeah.
And he was successful.
But even that guy had gotten divorced. His wife cheated on him. That's the saddest fucking story ever, right? Because you look at a guy like that and you go, wow, he's got it all. Take Tom Brady. Tom Brady for me was like, wow, he's super successful. Look at his family. His kids love him. He kisses them on the lips, the whole thing.
That part is weird. That part is weird. No, that's true story.
I know, I've seen it.
Yeah, it's fucking weird.
It's love, bro.
His 13-year-old kid.
Maybe his love is different from your love. I don't know.
Diddy's love is different than everybody.
Diddy's just trying to show some love, bro.
Dude, so then ideally, bro, I can't.
But
ideally, what would you consider is the most successful that her
person? Allegedly.
Well, what is your picture of success for me? For Garrett Greco?
Okay, for me,
for GG,
it would be an incredible business that I love,
just for you,
regardless of my family. You're saying,
yes. So regardless of your family. So what do you consider wealth?
It's hard to have the conversation without them, but if we do put that aside,
you have to.
Okay, if I put that aside,
because they don't determine your future.
It would be an incredible real estate company that has an amazing brokerage, that has very professional, very knowledgeable people working at it. I don't know a number. 50 agents would be fine. 100, whatever that number would be. Investments, having incredible real estate
What's your mom's
investments.
last name?
Greco. Well, Cash was her maiden name.
Bro, Greco Cash.
You like that? Cash.
Cash Greco.
For what, like a company name?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I got Greco Real Estate. Maybe
Yeah,
I could
I like
add the
it.
cash
No,
in the
no,
middle.
fuck that.
somewhere.
Actually, you
Greco.
take real estate out of it and you just make it Greco Cash or Cash Greco.
Greco Capital.
Yeah,
Greco Capital Cash.
Yeah.
We'll brainstorm later.
Yeah.
We'll brainstorm later. So just an incredible amount of assets that are worth holding and something I can be proud of. Not shitty pieces of real estate that I don't take care of. New roof, happy tenants, beautifully landscaped, something that's a part of the community, right? People drive by my real estate and they go, damn, that's a nice spot. That's what I want. And then development. I want to create projects, create incredible ground up mixed use
Apartments?
projects. Think like Water
Duplexes,
Street.
quadplexes?
Like people.
you want
so think about this,
Almost
right?
like city planning.
Since we're well, even further, right? Being a developer, since we're talking about the plan of my business and what I aspire to be, think about this, right? If you're a young kid that likes basketball, you're looking at Kobe, Jordan, right? All
Jordan,
these guys,
yeah.
right?
Jordan.
LeBron, maybe.
Fuck LeBron.
So that's who you look at as a young kid who loves basketball. Me, as a real estate nerd, I look at Jeff Vinnick. I look at Water Street. I look at Daryl
Yes.
Shaw, right?
Yes.
I'm looking at these guys going, that's what I want to do, dude. I want to
Yeah.
create incredible places, these just amazing city blocks that have restaurants and people are living upstairs and enjoying them. That's what I want to do with my business, is I want to create an incredible real estate company that services all of those aspects of the industry.
Yeah. And I mean, Grant Cardone said it best. I don't really care for him sometimes, but he said it best. Number one has to be your dream. Number two, your family, only because if I don't make my dream happen, then I can't take care of my family.
All right, so we got 50 seconds left. What if you want to leave somebody with your final words? What would it be?
Just keep hustling, keep grinding. I've, in my life, felt like giving up so many times. Just keep going, bro. Don't give up. There's so much information. There's also so much fun shit in life. Chase the fun, bro. We didn't really talk about the podcast, but that's why I love the podcast.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay Developer Podcast. Check it out. I explore all this stuff through Tampa's growth. We also talk about Tampa history, cigar rolling, all the cool shit happening here. I do that for fun, bro. I do it for fun because I enjoy it. If money is down the road, that's fine too. Chase the fun.
Chase the fun. You heard it here. Thank you for watching Tampa Bay or Happy Hour Holidaze. Make sure you check out Tampa Bay Developer Podcast. It's freaking fantastic. And tune in next week for another.